Hello, I am Anthony Vaught, and I am going to start posting videos about the United Nations and the organization that is going to be going on their biggest publicity and engagement event they have ever heard of for their 75th anniversary of existence. And I do not really believe that it's going to be a big event of where most people are going to participate, engage, or even know about. And the United Nations is a entity that everybody on the world needs to know about because they are United Nations, they're a global organization that was created. And there is so much involved with the United Nations. They infiltrate every single aspect of life and existence. And they've had a pre-planned agenda for everyone. And it's really in depth and really involved with everything that they do. So one of the things that this video is going to do is do a little bit of an introduction to the United Nations. Please do your research because it's like everything, there's a lot of ins and outs. And we're dealing with every single nation in the country. And if you ask every single nation of the world their opinion on a particular subject, you might get a different aspect of it. For example, the British have certain trade agreements with India and colonization that British probably think are pretty cool, and the India people may not totally agree with the plan, but they are obligated to honor the plan. But that's way before the United Nations came involved, and just like everything, there is an exact date of when it occurred. And I had to research again because I didn't think it happened in San Francisco, but the United Nations was established in the lovely place of San Francisco, California, USA, which I find hilarious that a place like San Francisco would be the birthplace of this great agenda that the United Nations has for you. And you are involved in it. You may not know you are involved in it, but you are. And just like everything that has an exact date, there were things leading up to it and things that occurred. And some of the information may not be valid anymore. Some of the information may need validation. And some things are just up to people's interpretations. But there's generally a good consensus of interpretations. And the events leading up to the start of the United Nations was to defeat hilltourism, which is a word that I just learned about by reading the declarations of the United Nations that were brought upon us or agreed upon by the British Empire, America, and Northern Ireland as the Atlantic Pact. And going to history.gov, a United States historical catalog of events, and and a very one-sided interpretation of what occurred is really eye-opening to see that one of the main reasons that America got into the war was not really because we cared. Well, we said that we cared about the British and the United Kingdom and Greece and all the nations getting destroyed by Hitler, but one of the major catalysts of the entrance of the United States into the war, as in backing it up, was a treaty agreement that allowed the United States to arm and supply the British with military goods, because they have been starting to not pay on their goods that we sold them, because, as we all know, international guns relations and international armament is a cash basis program. You have to have your cash to be able to buy the guns. And there's no credit, but we made an exception and got territories from the British in exchange for the arms and services, and so that greatly expanded the United States global reach of all of our military bases, and which I find, and but it wasn't because we liked, or honestly, the more I read about it and the more you look at it, it really does not have anything to do with the people involved. It is the ideas. But then they turn around and spin it that we were the saviors of the Jewish people and the Jewish minorities and the God's chosen people. So, but there's always two stories to every, there's more than two stories to every story. And so the United Nations, that part of that was the Atlantic Charter, and the other part was the Yalta meeting that occurred and the Denmark meeting that occurred between the countries of the United States, British, Northern Ireland, and the USSR, and a representative from China that worked at the Moscow embassy. And that's, I'm not a history buff, I just read and read a lot, so I did not really know that much about China's involvement in World War II, but as a result of World War II, the Chinese are one of the establishing participants in creating the UN Declaration, which is different from the UN, the ratification of the United Nations, but a lot of the ideas and goals are transferred over to the United Nations. And it's just like everybody that has a goal, you set a bar up high or at least I do, and then you may not meet your goals. So these are only goals, so they aim pretty high.